Hey, this is Bobby Ryu, and I'm here with Rob Judge, and we wanted to discuss something that a lot of guys deal with, and maybe you've experienced this yourself. You meet a girl, and things go really well. You can just tell when you're with her that she's into you. She finds you funny, there's attraction there, that you guys have a connection, rapport. But then something mysterious happens, and you sense that maybe the next time you talk to her, maybe the next time you see her in person, something's different. She's starting to pull away. She's a little more cold with you. You can tell that that it's just not the same way that she felt when she was with you. And what we want to explain, and what a lot of the problem is, because guys write us all the time saying, well, what can I do to get that feeling back? And it's the way that you might be approaching it that's causing the issue. And a lot of it stems with the difference between attraction and love. And when you approach attraction, if you don't focus, especially if you view this girl as, let's say, girlfriend material, and you actually want something to occur with her, there's another element to it, and that's like sort of the love element. And when we say love, we really mean sort of infatuation or a crush, not long-term marriage love. We mean the relationship sort of angle. Rob is like a master at attraction, so I'll let him explain what attraction is, and then I'll explain how sort of love differs and what you have to do to make sure that you're working that angle as well.
All right, so attraction, it's basically based a lot purely on emotions. It's not really based on any kind of long-term thinking from the woman. It's literally in the moment. It's very, very transient. It happens a lot of times at nightclubs. A lot of the girls that you can go up and you can make out with very quickly. A lot of times, a lot of one-night stands that you would have would be based on attraction. It's purely on attraction. There's no long-term thinking. It's very, very, very short-term. And you see, on a lot of guys, they see these short-term attraction signals, and they think, oh, okay, wow, this is great. This girl might be my girlfriend. This girl is going to think about me 3 days from now, a week from now. When I go to text her, a couple days later, she's going to remember who I am because she's so attracted in the moment. And that's unfortunately actually a misconception, because in actuality, attraction is very, very transient. It's all based on emotions. Just like you have emotions in the moment, and later on those emotions sort of go away, and then you feel different emotions. It's the same thing with attraction for women, like times 10. So you really have to train yourself to not get caught up in that short-term attraction thinking.
So if you're going for the love or the infatuation with a girl, and you kind of want there to be more than just sort of a temporary spike, you actually see like a possibility with her, you have to understand what love is. Love is not what she feels when she's with you. Love is what happens when she's away from you, when she's thinking about you. It's when she's replaying the conversations that she had with you in her mind. It's when she finds herself daydreaming about what it would be like in the future with you, and she starts picturing herself in situations like this. What would it be like to be, riding a gondola with him? Or what would it be like to introduce her to my parents? Or what would it be like to be on a vacation with him? That's that thought process she begins to go through. And then she finds herself, maybe irrationally, thinking about you, where she's with her friends and she wants to talk about you. And when she starts having this thought process, I call it the love loop, where it's just a constant thought process of imagining a future with you, wanting to talk about you, analyzing what's happened in the past with you. That's when she begins to think, wow, I'm this guy's boyfriend material. This isn't just hey, he's a fun guy, or hey, he's a cute guy. This is, I feel something. I have a connection with this guy, and that is love. So when you like a girl, you've got to add that next dimension of getting her to think about you when you're not around. More importantly, there's specific ways to do it. You want to get her not only thinking about you, you want to get her analyzing you. You want to target different emotions. You want her, when you're with her, yeah, she's feeling those emotions, but you want her feeling those same emotions when she's out with her friends, because if not, what happens is another guy comes along and all of a sudden he's getting her an emotional state and she's forgot about you. But when you've got her thinking about you when she's not around, then it's impossible for her to even think about somebody else. Rob has, we're going to give you a couple ways to do this, a couple ideas of how to, kind of keep yourself in her mind. Some of them sort of easy and some of them more complex. I'm going to let him tell you the first one, which is something that I know he does on almost every date he's on. Every time he meets a girl, even a first night, you'll initially start doing this.
So one of my favorite techniques for getting a girl to think about you in a more long-term way is through a technique which I call hitting the high points. And what this is that you've probably experienced this in your own life. If there's a song that reminds you of a certain time in your life, or more importantly, if there's a song that when it comes on the radio, you immediately think of a girl maybe you had a crush on, maybe you dated, whatever. It's almost like this song is an emotional Ziploc bag. It's like the Ziploc bag opens up and you feel that rush of emotions you felt around that girl for the first time, or whatever time. But essentially, you want to give her that same experience with you. And the way you do that is when you're out on a date with her, when you're talking to her, when you hit a high point where she's laughing in a conversation, where you can tell she's enjoying herself, you want to point out there's a song on, and usually if you're in a bar or a situation where there's music playing in the background, there's usually some sort of like pop song or some kind of song that you probably hear again. You want to just point out that song and be like, oh my god, I love this song. So for instance, how this would work would be like, say you cracked a joke, you said something, you got her laughing, you got her giggling, you got her in that heightened emotional state, then you just kind of pull back and you smile and you say, oh my god, I love this song, because you're drawing that connection between that emotional state that she's feeling and the music that's playing in the background. And what's going to happen is it's almost like you're putting those emotions into that emotional Ziploc bag. So this is a technique that's very, very easy to do. You could probably do it, even with a girl you're just hanging out with. All you need to do is get her to hit that high point out the song, smile, and associate that song back to you.
So another really simple thing that almost anybody can do without actually having to do anything is cologne. You may have experienced this. A girl that maybe you had a crush on, maybe a girl you dated, whatever, and she had a smell. And then when you're not around her, maybe you're walking through the mall, or maybe you're just at a bar and another girl happens to be wearing that, it triggers a rush, sort of what he said, a Ziploc bag of emotion opens up, and you're instantly transported. I mean, there's perfumes I can smell, and I could be sort of time travel back to freshman year of college 10 years ago and remember the exact feeling I felt with certain girls. And that's sort of what you want to do is go out and ask opinions from girls on you want a good scent. First of all, you want it to be a good scent, but make sure you wear the same cologne every time you're around her, preferably something that is mildly popular, not something that every guy wears where she's going to be attached to all these different guys, but also something not so like obscure that she's never going to smell it anywhere else. You want something that's kind of like mid-range in popularity so that she will smell it again, but not like every guy wears it. The two examples that we just gave are very easy things to do to get her thinking about you when you're not around, but that's sort of like the tip of the iceberg, because it's really sort of the psychological, I guess it's called like a chess game, we like to call it. And Rob and I actually put together and invented something that we call the Scrambler, which is completely designed for that girl that you want to move towards, maybe your girlfriend. And it's designed to make her essentially fall in love with you based on getting her thinking about you when you're not around. Whether it's sort of little things like anchoring you to things like cologne or a song, or the more psychological things like kind of getting her confused and sort of wondering about you and sort of being this enigmatic presence where she can't really figure you out. Everything is designed and sort of calculated to get her spending as much time thinking about you as possible, talking about you with her friends, and imagining a future with you. Because like I said a little earlier, if you can get her to create that love loop in her mind, she's going to fall in love with you whether she wanted to or not. It's impossible. And you might have experienced that yourself with a girl where you didn't really know why you were feeling about her, but you realize, wait, I keep thinking about this girl, and you start to miss her. You start thinking, wow, like because once the thing is our brain can't really differentiate. Once we imagine ourselves in the future with them, and once we sort of analyze the past, we're sort of what I call time traveling with this person, and you begin to feel this intense connection with them. And that's what the Scrambler is designed to do. So I just wanted to kind of give you sort of a sneak preview of what the Scrambler is, and you are going to be hearing a lot more about this in the very near future.